To SharePoint online tutorials. In this video, we'll discuss complete SharePoint security. So inside that, we'll discuss what are the permissions available in SharePoint Online, what is the permission inheritance in SharePoint Online, how we can grant the access to the users, and how you can remove the access to a specific user. And also we have a unique permission concept, how you can implement a unique permissions to the site and how you can implement a unique permissions to a particular list. And also we'll discuss what is the site collection administrators, we can call it as an SES in SPO. And also we'll discuss about the SharePoint groups or permissions groups, and also we'll discuss what are the permission levels are available in SharePoint Online, and also we'll discuss how we can create a custom permission levels and what are the security levels in a different level of SharePoint Online. That we'll discuss in this session. So first we'll go to the SharePoint site. So this is a SharePoint site which we created. This is a communication site. To see the permissions for this particular site, we have to go to site information from the site action gear, go to view all settings. When we go to the view all settings, there is a section for users and permissions. So in this section we have total 4 options. First option is people and groups, and the second option is site permissions, third option is site collection administrators, and the fourth one is site app permissions. So the last one is related to the applications. We are not going to cover in this video. We'll cover these 3 topics. First we'll start with the site permissions. When you click site permissions, you can able to see all the users who have access to this particular site. But whenever you create a site collection, whenever you create a subsite with the unique permissions, 3 groups automatically creates. So those groups are, first one is site name with a visitors group which contains a read permission. The second one is site name with a members group, and that contains an edit permission. And the last one is site name with the owners, so which contains a full control on this site. We'll discuss individually what is edit, what is full control, what is read. So before going to that, now here in the top there is a message stating that there are limited access users on this site. Users may have limited access if an item or a document under this site has been shared with them. So if you want to show that limited users, and you can click this show users, you can able to see, and one person have RSID, that's what the username we are using here, and that user contains a limited access to this particular site. Now let it about the limited access first, and we'll come back and we'll see couple of options available. Total we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options is available here. And in the 8 options, the first we'll discuss about the site collection administrators. And just before, when you go to the site settings page, you can able to see a different option here as well, site collection administrators. If you hit this site collection administrators, and you can able to see one user added here, that is RSIT user, and he is a site collection administrator, the same account which we are using. You can able to see that account name here, the same account which we are using, and this guy have the site collection administrator access. If you go to this permissions page just before we saw, and when you go from here also site collection administrators, you can able to see the same user here also, and 2 options were same, but Microsoft given in 2 places. That's it, that is only the difference. And here there is no limit for adding the site collection administrators. You can able to add couple of users. Site collection administrators are given full control over all websites in the site collection. They may also receive site use confirmation mail, enter users separated by semicolon. Of course, that's a different concept. We'll discuss about that later. Click close, and this is about that. And before that, you can see access request settings. If you hit this access request settings, and you can able to see a couple of options here. Allow members to share the site and individual file or folders, and this is about allow members to share the sites about option. But coming to the access request here, allow access request, which means if you unselect this, and the user who try to access that page, and they'll get a different message. But if that enabled, you can see this kind of message. you need permission to access this site, and you can enter some message and you can request the access, and then that message will go to the user who email address is entered here. Now here it is going to Rishan solution owners, or if you want to specify a specific email address, yes, you can able to specify that specific email address. I have that email address. I'm entering RSIT rsitopc.onmicrosoft.com. Now done. So if you want to put any custom message, you can, and I'm just giving allow access request option, and the mail will trigger to this user. So this way you can set up a email request to the users, and then that email will goes to the person who have that particular access from the owners group, or if you give any separate email address, that will go to that person. Now I am opening this Outlook for this particular user. So what I'll do is I'm going back here, and this user is trying to request for an access. Now I'm entering some message. Hi, I need access to this site for add documents. That's it. I'm just correcting it. Okay, when I click request access, the page is loading. You need permission to access this site, and it is waiting for approval. Now we'll see, this is a message this user is sent. So I'll go back to this, and I'm expecting a mail to be triggered to this particular mailbox. We'll wait for a minute. We'll see the mail will come to this particular account or not. Okay, so it may take our 1 or 2 minutes time. If it not comes, we'll test once again. And before that, we have the permission level. We'll see this permission levels. Click on permission levels. So we have total 5 different 1 2 3 4 5 different levels of permissions were available. So first one is read, and who have a read access, they can able to view the pages and list items, documents also they can able to see, and they can able to download those documents also with read permission. And coming to the contribute permission, people will have the read permission, plus they can able to add the data, update the data, and delete the data that is inside the list and inside the document library. They can able to add the items, they can able to add the documents, they can able to update the items, they can able to update the documents, and they can able to delete also. And this edit is one level higher than the contribute, which means they can able to have all these permissions as well, and they can able to modify the list and the document libraries also, which means they can able to customize the list and document library settings. And the design permission, this is one level above of this edit permission, and design permission also contains all the permissions inside the edit permissions. And also in the design permission level, they can able to view, update, delete, and also they can approve the items, and they can able to customize the pages. And coming to full control, and this is one level above this design permission, and this full control have the permission to give the permission to other people. They can able to update, they can able to create, they can able to delete, and also they can able to give the permission to others. And we'll have an option to create a custom permission levels. I will have the delete select a permission level also option is available here. Now we'll discuss this one a bit later. We'll see we got the email or not. Still this email is not sent to this user. The particular user is requested for an access, but still it is not sent here. So we'll go to others, no, and we'll check once again. I'll go back to permissions, and then access request settings. Okay, we given this RSIT. Okay, there is a mistake here. So what we'll do is we'll cancel this one. Just come back here, copy this email address, click on access request settings and change this email address, click OK. We'll go back to this page and try to refresh it, and it is waiting for the request, so that's why it is not sending. Again I am typing, please provide access to this site, and just click send. Now again it sent a message to from this user to that particular admin. We'll come back and check this mailbox. See, now the message is triggered. See, please provide. Okay, now it is showing like this: action required. You have a pending access request, and the reason they mentioned, please provide access to this site, and you can approve or you can decline from here. And if you want to directly give a edit permission or you want to give a read permission, you can choose from here and click approve. That user directly get the access. So this is one way to give the access to the users. Another way we have here, the very first option, there is a grant permission option is available. Now in the grant permission option, I'm trying to invite the user. The username is Rishan Solutions, and click go to the show options and select sending an email invitation. And when you hit this one, you can able to see these 3 SharePoint groups, and you can able to see 1 2 3 4 5, and there is a restricted view permission level also, but default permissions levels are 5: full control, design, edit, contribute and read. Now we'll start with the read permission to this user. Click share. Now we have shared a permission to that particular user. That is a direct read permission we given to the user. So when you refresh this page here, now you can able to see this user have a read permission. When you are going back to the users page, and you need to enter until site URL only, not an access denied page. Now the user have a permission this particular site. When this particular user go to site contents, he can able to see all the list and libraries available inside this site. Now you can also able to see here, this user able to see, for example, if I go to all projects, now I can able to see the view, but there is no new option here to add the data. If I select any data, I don't see the edit option. Even I can able to see open, share, copy link, and I don't have the edit option. Just I can see the details only. There is no edit option. So to give this kind of permission, like adding the data or updating the data, and we have to grant a permission to this user, giving us a contribute or edit permission. So this user is already added into this site. You can click this one. Now you can able to see the edit user permission option and remove user permission option. First we'll test with the edit user permission, and now we'll give a contribute permission. Click OK. Now the user have read and contribute permission. Of course, if you remove the read permission, also contribute permission have the read plus add update permission. So that's why user can able to do the actions on that particular site. Go back to the user login, refresh the page. When we refresh the page, we can able to see the new option, new item. Now we can able to add technologies. Here you can able to add Microsoft lists, and then title you can give MS lists, and there is some project end date, and then you can able to save this. Now he is able to save the data into the list. And also if you want to edit any existing data, if you click this one, you can able to see edit option here. If you click this one, you can able to see the edit option here. and this user can able to edit the data, and this user can able to delete the data also because he have contribute permission. Now delete option also available here, and when you hit delete, and this user can able to delete the items as well. Now here the thing is, this user able to delete those things, but when the user clicks this site action gear, now there is no list settings option. There is a add a page, site content, site permissions, and site usage option, and this user don't have that particular option to go to the list settings. To provide the list settings option to this user, again we'll go back and click this one, edit user permission, and we'll give edit permission instead of contribute. When you click OK, now this user have an edit permission and read permission. Come back to this page, refresh this particular list. Now in this we have again new item option, and again we have, when you select, you can see the edit option, you can able to see the delete option, and also when you hit this one, there is an additional option appearing here that is called list settings. See, now we can able to change the title, description, logo, description and navigation. I'm just giving permissions, click save. Okay, so now we have the settings, but in these settings you cannot able to see the permissions for this particular list. Even when I click this option for this user, there is a site settings page. Still, if we have an edit option, when we go to this site settings, and only just look and feel option is available for this edit permission. You can able to go to any list, you can able to set the permissions, and you can able to modify the data on the so you cannot able to set the permission, you can able to do the modifications on the particular list, but you cannot able to set the permissions to this particular list. Now we'll go back to the permission page. Now you can select, you can click edit user permissions, and then give the design permissions, and select this edit, click OK. Come back to the list. So we are working with a different list. We'll go to that particular list. I'm going back to the technologies list, and it's loading. We'll go to the site contents. In the site contents, we have all project permissions. Again, we have the new option. You can able to add the data, and you can select an existing data, edit and delete is available. And then when you hit this one, list settings also available, and you can able to see the same kind of list settings is available here. And again, if I go to the site settings page, I have the design permission. So with the design permissions, I can able to see the web designer galleries, I can able to create site columns, site content times, I can able to create term store management, I can able to handle, and couple of search related things also I can able to handle with the design permission. But we don't have an approve concept implemented any of the list which is already created, so that's why we cannot able to test that approve functionality. But design will have the approve functionality to the items and the documents, which is not published yet. So that is also advantage with that. And the final one will give that permission to this user. Click edit user permissions, and then select full control. Come back, click OK. Done. Now if you give a full permission to the user, just refresh this site settings page. Now you can able to see the users and permissions concept, and you can grant the permissions to other users, and grant option is also available here for this particular user. And we'll come back to this look and feel section. You can able to see web designers and site administrator, and also you can able to see the site actions. You can able to delete the site also. If you hit delete this site and it gives some information, you can able to delete this particular site. And if we go to the site contents, we have the same level of permissions on that particular list. If you go to technologies, you can able to see all the options is available, and you can select this, and you can edit, and you can add, you can delete. And we'll go to the site contents. Actually, we are checking this all projects, we are checking this all project permissions. Click this all project permissions and click on this list settings. In the list settings, we have the permissions for this list concept, and also we have delete this list option also available, and all the options is available. And if you want to give the permissions to the list, you can click and you can grant the permissions, but this list inheriting permissions from a particular site. Now we'll discuss about the inheritance a bit later. We'll close this one. Again, we'll go back to here. So if you want to remove the permissions to a particular user, once you select this user, you can able to see the next option is remove user permissions. If you click this remove user permissions, you are about to remove all permissions for the following user in this site, RSIT site. Click OK. Now this user don't have a permission to this particular site. I will go back to the other browser. In the other browser, I'm trying to refresh this site contents. Now you can able to see the same message, you need permission to access this site. So we removed the permissions for this particular user. If you refresh any of the page, and you'll get that access denied error again. Okay, now we were discussed about what are the permissions level are available, how you can grant the permission level to a single user. Not only single user, when you are granting the permissions, you can call the multiple users. Now I'm calling RSIT, and I'm just trying to call Trishan Solutions ID. Now like this, you can call the multiple people at a time, and click that show options. Now you can send an email invitation with the permission you are granting, and also you can able to see the edit, full control, read permission levels, and individual permissions also. Like this way you can grant the permissions. And one more thing we need to discuss about this: when you create any list under this particular site, any document library, any page, initially it will not ask for the permissions, it directly inherits the permissions from the site. That will test it first. Now I'm going to create an app here. Now I'll create some contacts list, or maybe a document library. So I'm trying to create a contacts list. It's still loading. Maybe this list is not available. What we'll do is we'll try to create a documents library. Now I have this document library. We'll create this document library, give a name as doc library. Click create. So when you create a document library, it is not asking anything, any permissions related information. Now when you go to this document library, it directly inherits permissions from its parent. So that is nothing but an inheritance, or a permission inheritance in a SharePoint. So now directly I'm going to this library settings. Here we have the permissions for this document library. When you click this permissions for this document library, you can able to see the message in the top. There are limited access to the users, that's fine. Users may have limited access to so and so, so and so. But here we have a message, this library inherits permission from its parents, RSIT site. Okay, that's fine, we understand. Now I don't want to maintain the permissions, I don't want to inherit the permissions from its parent site. I want to break this. So to break that, we have an option here, stop inheriting permissions. Before stopping the inheritance, you have to check who have access to this. So we have total 3 SharePoint groups: members groups, visitors group, and owners group. We understand what is the permission level it contains. Now when I click stop inheritance, nothing is happened to the existing people. All the people who have access to this particular site and this particular document library, they'll still have an access when you hit this stop inheritance. click OK, and before clicking that, and you can able to see a message here, you are about to create a unique permissions for this document library. Changes made to the parent side permissions will no longer affect this document library. That we know. Click OK. Now we stopped the permissions for this particular document library, and again I am going back to the site information, view all site settings. Now click on this site permissions, grant permission, click here. Now I am trying to give a permission to Rishan Solutions and give whatever the permission you want, and I'm not going to add that person inside these three groups. I'm giving a edit permission. Click share. Okay, we give him permission to that Rishan Solutions user. Now we'll try to access this particular site. Now this user can able to access this site, same site. I'm going to site contents. In the site contents, this user can able to see documents so and so, so and so, so and so, but there is no document library, there is no doc library option here inside this site contents. But if you go to the original site, I am going to site contents and open a new tab. Now you can able to see the doc library here, and this account is can able to access this doc library which is created here. And when you go to other browser, now this user, Rishan Solutions user, not able to access that doc library because we have stopped inheritance for that particular doc library. Only three groups can able to access that, and who are inside that group, those users can able to access that doc library. So that is about permission inheritance and how it is applied to that particular document library. Now if you give or if you grant permission, before granting a permission you want to check the permissions for that particular user. There is a check permission option. Now enter Rishan Solutions, then click check now. See, none. This user don't have a permission to this particular doc library, and this doc library have a unique permissions. Now to break the unique permissions, there is a option named as delete unique permissions. But stop inheritance is not effect on the permissions. It contains only the existing permissions, but it stops the inheritance. All the people who already have access to that particular document library, they still have a permission if you stop inheritance. Later you can add the people here in the document library, that those people will not add to the site. And if you add couple of people in the site level, those people will not able to access this particular document library until you add those people into the groups. If you add the users into groups, they can able to access. If you are giving individual permissions in the site level, and those users will not get permission to this particular document library. And if I hit delete unique permissions, now you are about to inherit permission from the parent web. Any custom permissions will be lost, which means if you add any custom users custom permissions, that will lose from this particular list. Now see, this user also added to this document library. Now if you go back here, just refresh this page. Now you can able to see the doc library also here. You can able to see now. So this way we can stop the inheritance, we can delete the unique permissions, we can grant the permissions individually in the site level, individually in the document level. And the same concept is available in individual places also. You can stop the inheritance for a single item. For example, if you create any item inside any item inside this particular list, and it will not ask for the permission when you are creating an item. That we know we have created a couple of items, and then when we are creating, it is not asking for the permission. Now here it is asking for technology. Now we'll give, what will give, Mm, I'll give Angular JS, and title is JS, and I'm not entering anything. Click save. Now the data is stored here. Data are stored in this particular list, but it is not asking permissions. And now it is grouped by technology. So I think we'll go to the, not here, we'll go to all items, then we can easily see all the items. So we have created a technology. Okay, so we have created this one JS, title is JS, we have given for Angular JS. Now when you click manage access, you can able to see the people here, or you can hit advanced. When you click advanced for this particular item, you can able to see here this is also inheriting permissions from its parent, which means the site permissions, it is coming here. What we'll do is we can stop the permission for this single item, and you can stop. Now we'll try to open this one first here. And there is a technology view by default, and I want to change this to all items view here also. For this particular JS, we stopped inheriting permission from its parent, but still it is available. What we'll do is, here I'll remove this user, remove permissions, click OK. Now this user don't have an access to JS. Now we'll come back to this list. We can able to see the JS here. We'll refresh this page, and I'm expecting the JS will not appear in this view. See, now the JS is not available. In the last earlier we saw that JS, now it is not available because we have removed the permission for this particular user. But if you go to this user, now in the minimize, so close that, refresh here. For this user, still it is appearing in the bottom. See, for this user, it is still appearing in the bottom. But for this user, different user, it is not appearing in the bottom because this guy don't have an access to that particular JS item. So this way we can restrict the permission on the particular item as well. And even though for folder, if you are working with a folder, there is a manage access option available for the folder. You can restrict the permission on this as well. So this is fine. We'll discuss about the subsites. So for that, first again going to the admin user. Now I am trying to move to site contents. We'll discuss how you can manage the subsite permission. Go to subsites, and this is subsite which is already available. And when I'm creating this subsite, what I did is I inherited permissions from its parent site. So now go back to the site information. Our site permissions were below, but still go to site view all site settings. Again go back to site permissions. And here you can able to see that this website inherit permission from its parents. But when it is inheriting permissions from its parent, and these users still have an access because it is inheriting permissions from that. Now this site name is subsite. Now still I can able to see Rishan Solutions members, owners and visitors. Now what I'll do is if I click here, I can able to remove the existing permissions. Still I can grant the permission. Now what I'll do is, instead of using like this, again I'll go back to the parent site. So this is parent site. In the parent site, I'll go to site permissions. and I'll go to advanced settings. Then I can easily understand, I can able to see that window to remove this user. Remove user, click OK. Now we are working in the site collection level. I removed this user. So now we'll go to the subsite permission. This is subsite permissions page. You can refresh this one. So when we refresh this page and the person is removed from here, okay, what we'll do is we'll try to add the same user here, and I'm trying to add same user. Click and show options, and give any of the permissions, something like design permissions, and try to share. Now when I share in the subsite level, here I shared, and when I refresh this page here in the subsite, I can able to see this user with a design permission. Now I came back to the site collection level, and then I'll try to refresh this page in the site collection level. Now I can able to see the user. In the subsite, they given a option to grant the permission. When you are granting a permission and this shows a message, they will also get access to the RSIT site and the site that shares permissions with it, which means if this site collection contains any subsites and those subsites also inheriting permission from its parent site, this user will get a permission to that particular sites also. That's what it is stating that. But if you don't like to maintain the same permissions from your site collection, you can again use this stop inheritance option, or you can use a manage parent, or you can use stop inheritance. So I'll try to use this stop inheritance. So when I click stop inheritance, you are about to create a unique permissions for this website. Changes made to the parent website permissions will no longer affect this website. To manage the changes in permissions across multiple websites using the group is recommended. Okay, we'll discuss about the groups later. First we'll discuss about this inheritance concept. Now when I stop inheritance in a list, when I stop inheritance in an item level, and there is nothing showed to create a groups, but here we have an option to create the groups, and it is asking if you want to use the same kind of groups from the parent side. Still if you want to use the parent SharePoint groups, you can use, or you want to create a new group, you can able to create. If you hit a new group option, and it will give the subsite name with the visitors, and you want to add the users, yes you can. And this is a members group, and this is a owners group. See, it's RSIT and RSIT adding in both places, because this is the user you are breaking the permissions, and you are trying to give an unique permissions using that account. So that's why it is automatically giving. We know that owners have a full control and the members have an edit permissions, but here in the subsite they are giving a contribute permission and visitors have a read permissions. So if you click OK, and then it will create a new SharePoint groups for this particular subsite. To see that again, once it loads completed, again you can go back to the site action gear, and from there from there you can go back to permissions, go to advanced permissions, see. Now the existing, we know that when we stop inheritance, existing persons who have our existing users or groups who have the permission to that particular site or a list or an item, they will not lose the permission. The new people only will add to here. Now the new people is added here, you can able to see. So this way we can manage the subsite permissions, and we can stop the inheritance. And also finally, if you don't like this unique permissions, again you want to get the permission from its parents, you can able to use this delete unique permissions concept. If you hit this one, then again it will get the permissions from its parent site, which means the site collection just before we discussed. So that is about subsite permissions. Now we'll try to create a new subsite. To create a new subsite, here we have an option. Click subsite. Now I'm giving demo permissions, and I'm just giving DMP. So this is a subsite we are creating, and these options we know. Now here the topic for the permission. Now the first option is use same permissions as a parent, which means who have access to parent side, and those people will have access to the subsite, or you can able to create a unique permissions. We'll click this one and we'll go to the next page. We'll see if you click this one in the next page it will not show anything and it directly creates a site, but we'll click this one and skip these topics. Just click create. We want to know about this unique permission concept. When you click create, it will create a subsite for us. Okay, so it is creating subsite, and also it is giving the visitors group, members group, and owners group. We are creating with this account, and then it is showing like that. Now I'm trying to add one more user here. Okay, see, when you click Ctrl K, it just resolves the username. Now when you click OK, it will create a new subsite and it will create 3 groups with the unique permissions. Now this is created, we selected team site, so that's why we can able to see this team site template design on this particular page. When you go to this, go to site permission. Now click this advanced permission settings. Now we are in a DMP site. In the DMP site, we are going to the advanced permission settings. In the advanced permission settings, we can able to see 3 groups: demo permissions, members, demo permission owners, and visitors. If you go to your site collection, and here we have the different groups and different users, and when you go to, this is not here, and here you can able to see the different groups. So this way, when you are creating a subsite, you can create a unique permissions, and later when you grant the permissions, when you remove the permissions, and that will not affect on your site collection, and you cannot able to see the message in the top. This website has a unique permissions, but other websites have the message like this website has inheritance permission from its parent site, and the parent site name you can able to see. So we understand that we can restrict the permissions in the site collection level, we can restrict the permissions in subsite level, we can restrict the permissions in list and document level, and we can also restrict the permissions on folders level, we can restrict the permissions on item level. So we have a different levels of security inside SharePoint that starts from item, folder, list or document library, and from subsite, and from site collection as well. We have individual security and individual permissions available here. So we have different topics other than this, that is creating the SharePoint groups and creating a permission, custom permission levels. So we have 2 topics left in this SharePoint security that we'll discuss in the next video. In the next video, we'll discuss how you can create a SharePoint group, how you can assign a permission level to that, and we have a couple of permission level that is not satisfying all the requirement, how you can create a new permission level, how it is useful to the users. That we'll discuss in the next video. Thanks for watching my video.